Welcome back to the Prince Armory Academy. This will be a step-by-step tutorial for how to make this female breastplate using leather, and we'll mostly focus on the assembly itself here, so if this is your first project with us, please be sure to check the quick start guide on our website, which will go into detail on more of the basics and other components in this series. The materials you'll need for this build are leather, rivets, and buckles, and for tools, all you really need is something to cut with and a hammer to set the rivets. You'll also need something to punch the holes with. You can use something like a handheld rotary punch or tube punch with interchangeable heads. As always, the build starts by printing the patterns and tracing everything out onto the leather. The patterns can be scaled up or down to fit a large range of sizes, so be sure to do a test fit and a mock-up using the patterns before committing materials to your own project. This tutorial is sponsored by Weaver Leather Supply. The leather and many of the tools you'll see me use can be found at Weaver Leather Supply's online store, which has everything you need to delve into this exciting and rewarding craft. They have a huge selection of leather, tools, hardware, and much more, all at great prices. And if you'd like to help support our channel, you can use the affiliate link in the description to stock up on your leather supplies for your next build. The leather I used for this project is Weaver Select 9 to 10 ounce vegetable tanned leather. Once the parts are traced, I separate the hide into smaller chunks with a utility knife and cut the individual parts out with shears from there. It'll also be good to mark and punch the holes at this stage as well. This armor project and the Warrior series in general is meant to be a blank canvas that you can choose to tool and decorate if you wish, but to keep things simple here, we'll only add a decorative groove and bevel the edges. Where you want to go from there is up to you. We have many more technique and build videos available and more on the way, so check those out if you want some ideas of how to make this more elaborate. Now we can move on to the assembly process. This build is almost the same as the male breastplate. The main difference for the female set is that it has the cups on the front, which simply give you another style option. For the best results, you'll need to wet form the cup pieces lightly. These are labeled C1 and C2, and D1 and D2. You can stretch them over any spherical object like a baseball, for example, while they are still damp. Start the assembly by riveting the cups together. C1 is the top piece, which goes to D1, which will form the right cup from the wearer's perspective, and C2 and D2 form the left cup. And just FYI, the pattern includes some color-coded reference markers to help with the build process. You'll use medium double-capped rivets for most of the assembly, which can be found at Weaver Leather. You can pick up a rivet setter for $1 or $2, or you can simply set the rivets flat directly with your hammer from the inside. Do the same for the other side. If your seam lines look lumpy, you can planish the bacon edges away with a smooth-faced hammer. Next, we attach the cups. Start with the left cup, C1, D2, and attach them to the torso, part B. Rivet from the outside and work your way in towards the middle. Repeat the process for the right cup. Next, you'll take part A and rivet it to part B from the center. All the rivet holes should line up easily, but you can refresh the moisture level at any time to make the pieces more pliable. It's always a good idea to burnish your edges a bit with a slicking tool if you have one. Another tip for comfort is to carefully slice down any inside corners and edges that might dig in while worn. You can finish off the look by finessing the shape to your preference, like rounding the cups a bit more by wet molding them over a spherical object. Next, we'll need to assemble the lower abdominal plate. Take part E and place part F1 over the left side and F2 over the right side. Now we'll move on to the back plate. The center piece A will overlap the two side pieces B1 and B2. I'll give the back plate just a little bit of shape here too. The last piece to assemble is the lower back plate. The sides will overlap the middle plate. Now I'm going to apply some color to the project. This process has been covered in detail with many other videos, so the short version is that I'm using black Pro oil dye and applying it with a wool dauber and sponge. And to both finish the piece and help firm it up, I'm applying Weaver's Tough Coat Clear, which is an acrylic finish. Final assembly. To join the parts together, we'll use a small retaining strap. This will add just a little bit of flexibility between the top and bottom sections of the breastplate. You can use the same vegetable tan leather for this strap, or if you have the option, you can use something a little more supple and lightweight. I'm using some kangaroo leather, which is very thin but still very strong. The blue marks on the patterns indicate where the retaining straps will go. They are all the same size, so just rivet each strap to the bottom plates first, and then connect it to the top plates. The last step is to add buckles. There is a separate guide and free pattern pack for how to make buckles at our academy, and it's up to your preference and personal fit where you attach them so the hole locations are not added to the pattern directly. You'll want to do a test fit and mark the buckle spots where you want them. These are 1-inch buckles, but the size really doesn't matter that much. You can make them wide or thin, short or long, according to your preference. To determine the buckle placement, either wear the piece and have someone help you mark the holes, or put the armor on a mannequin that has similar dimensions to yours. Then punch the holes and rivet the buckles in place, and then you're done. This piece is part of the Warrior series, which is our most beginner-friendly armor set aimed at helping you get started with leather crafting and armor making. Up next, we'll be doing the tutorial for the Warrior pauldrons, so be sure to subscribe and check back soon. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.